So once I have imported the data to Excel, I can go ahead and plot them. Before I will do the plotting, however, I need to make some changes to my wavelength data. So you can see here on the left, this is originally imported data for the stick spectrum, and I would like to plot it as sticks. I don't really have a good plotting utility in Excel to be able to plot a stick spectrum, so I'm going to fake it a little bit with a different type of spectrum. In order for the spectrum to come out looking relatively well, I need to add some extra lines into my data. So I have done that already here on right. So you can see what I have done for each of the stick that has non-zero oscillator strength. I have added a data point before and after. So here I have the stick at 328.81 nanometer. So I have added additional data point at 328.8 nanometer, set it equal to 0, and another data point at 328.82 nanometer and set it to 0. So I have done the same for the next stick that is at 301.73 nanometers. I have added additional data point before and after, setting them equal to 0. So you get the idea. Okay, first let's plot the UV-Vis spectrum where I will plot epsilon versus the wavelength. So just highlight X, Y, and all of the data point below. Okay, so keep going until the very end. So there are quite a few data points, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to highlight them all. So just keep going. Okay, here I'm at the end. So what I will do, I will go to Insert. I will select Scatter Chart and I will choose Scatter with Smooth Lines option. So that will plot the spectrum. I will just bring it up to the top of my Excel sheet. Almost there. Okay, so this is my UV-Vis spectrum, and I can adjust the x-axis. So I want to go from about 150 nanometers to 500 nanometers. So that's my x-axis. For the y-axis, I want to start at 0. Okay. And you can, of course, go ahead and adjust the font sizes for the x and y axes, add the descriptions, and so on. But what I want to do next is to show you how I add the stick spectrum. Okay. So I highlight my series, do the right click, and choose Select Data. Now I want to add additional entry, so I click on plus, choose for the x values. I will highlight the x column for the stick spectrum. I will choose the corresponding y values. Okay. And click OK. So now my spectrum is very tiny, so what I have to do is to add additional y-axis. So I select the data points. And I want to select, so once I double click, I will get this format data point, and I want to plot series on secondary axis. So now you can see this is looking kind of horrible, but I can fix that by changing the chart type. So I choose change chart type. I will choose XY scatter, and I want to choose scatter with straight lines. Okay, and now I have a stick spectrum where my non-zero oscillator strengths are showing as straight lines. The y-axis for the oscillator strength is on the right. So then you can go ahead and adjust the spectrum from here. The advantage of importing your data point to Excel is that when you also have the spectrum for cis-azobenzene, you can plot the spectra together on the same plot, and you can very easily see what are the shifts going from cis to trans azobenzene.